if your house has been for sale for a long time, I would say at least 3 months or more, and it's not selling, and you're becoming tired and frustrated and stressed out, and you're feeling like your life is just not moving forward and you can't really take any decisions until the house sells. And I perfectly relate to that because I was in exactly the same situation a couple of years ago. And I kind of am a little bit in the same situation right now. I'll tell you about it. Then, anyway, this is the right place, the right time, and you really need to listen to me. And why? Is because I'm Sveta from Home Staging Step by Step, and I specialize in helping home sellers just like you to figure out, the best way of increasing the value of your property and doing everything right and making sure that the property is at its best so you can sell it yourself or with a realtor, but you can sell it quickly and at the top possible price. And that is really the goal. So everything I do is in this goal of helping you online and figuring out what you can do to make your house better and sell your house better. And my motto really is every home seller deserves a better sale. That is what I believe. So today's topic, it's Casual Friday. And today's topic, I've really been thinking about it a lot because I've been seeing a lot of people who are struggling. I know in some places the economy is amazing, the real estate market is amazing, and any kind of house will sell fast, which is great. But even in a hot market, I just want to let you know that there is a possibility of you increasing the price and maybe having multiple bids if your house is properly staged and looks amazing. So whatever I'm saying here applies to anybody who's been struggling with selling their house for whatever different reasons. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about. And that's the potential likely top reasons of why your house is not selling. And I would highly recommend that you look at them in detail. Actually, I wrote a blog post about it, so I'll post a link right next to the video so you can go and read in more detail. This is going to be just a quick review. The blog post is on homestagingstepbystep.com website, house not selling. And within that blog post, which is even better, is that I've included an absolutely free document which I created, which not only gives you, the problems, but obviously you want to know the solutions. So what to do about the situation that you might be in. And that is what my document is going to give you. So you can just go there, you can enter your email address, your name, and then you download it, and it's free. And it actually addresses the solutions for the potential problems that you will be identifying. So without further ado, let us talk about the potential problems and let's see if there is something that you will recognize in your own situation. So what I want to say is don't despair because every house has its buyer, and you just need to find, what things you have to fine tune to attract that perfect buyer to your house. So for example, one of the things that is obviously almost impossible to change or do anything about is the location, and I'm sure you've heard many times how people talk about, location, that everything is about location. So that is a fact. And I was in that situation once myself where I bought a house which was really not in a good location. So if that's the case and there is something that, for example, you have railroad tracks next to your house, or maybe you are in an area that's just up and coming, or whatever the situation is in, that is not something that you can do about. So for sure, that's going to be an impediment, and it's going to be more difficult for you to sell your house. But, that becomes even more important for you to do everything else right and make sure that you maintain your house and you upgrade it and you stage it in a way that once you attract the people to come there, they kind of forget the environment they're in, and they're so impressed with your house that they go, wow, I still want that house. And so that becomes your really focus number one, is to make the house look so fantastic and put really good pictures, and we'll talk about the photos just in a second, to put them out there so you can attract the clients to you. So that is number one, is about location, and it's a little bit of a difficult one. That's why I'm starting with that one first. Then also some of the issues could be that you have some structural issues or damage, or a house is just in a very poor condition. One of the worst things are things like asbestos or foundation cracks or a leaky roof. You know, those are big issues, and they're usually expensive issues to fix. And that is where you have to really identify them, and you have to decide for yourself whether it's something that you want to be dealing with, if you have the time to deal with it, and if you have the money to deal with it. Of course, in the ideal world, you would want to fix your roof and to fix the foundation cracks, because it's super important, or any other major structural issues before you put the house on the market. It's highly recommended. But I do understand that in some cases, it's not possible. Maybe you don't have the money, maybe you don't have the time, maybe you just don't want to deal with it, and that's okay. But if that's the case and you decide not to address those issues, then obviously, you know, it has to be declared and the price has to be adjusted accordingly. And the reason why I always recommend to do it if you can, it's because when you actually pay someone, let's say $7,000 or $8,000 to repair your roof, well, it increases the value of the house by a lot. Not just the monetary value, but also the fact that the people who will be coming, they will want to pay, they will be willing to pay more because they don't have to deal with it. So it's also the hassle factor. So maybe you'll pay $7,000 for the roof, but the actual increase in value is $10,000, plus there's also the time factors. The better maintained your house is, in better condition your house is, the better are the chances that you're going to sell it fast. So another potential topic, and that one is really like my topic, and that's what everything I do revolves around that, and that's pretty easy to fix. And the topic is that the house doesn't showcase well. And what does it mean? Well, it means that maybe it just needs some cosmetic changes and things that are not very difficult to implement. So they will require maybe a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, maybe a little bit of money, but usually we don't recommend major changes like renovating a kitchen or a bathroom before you sell your house. It's really, in most cases, it's not necessary. So, but you could maybe paint, or you could change a backsplash, or maybe changing the door handles on your kitchen cabinet. So there are clever and creative ways of addressing the fact that your house maybe doesn't look its best. Of course, it has to be decluttered, and it has to be cleaned, and then the furniture has to be positioned in a certain way. So basically the idea is very simple, is you have to do whatever you can do to make your house look spacious and bright and visually attractive. So if you think about the model homes, when you go to see model homes, why the builders always present the house looking so good, and they go to the last little details with light fixtures and curtains and all the little decorative items. Well, it's exactly for that reason, because they want to create a lifestyle. So they want you to walk in and be so impressed and say, wow, you know, I feel good here. I can see myself living here. And that is the reason why they do that, because buying a house, it's an emotional decision. So they want to get you into a state of mind where you'll fall in love with the house. And so for you, in your situation, it's exactly the same thing. Whatever you do, always keep in mind that you're doing it so the potential buyers fall in love with your house. So you have to work on that. By the way, if you have a vacant home, so everything I'm talking about is usually applies to the lived-in homes, because I think that lived-in homes are more difficult to deal with because you actually live in there. So you have your stuff, and you have kids, and you have pets, and you know, your life is busy. So it's a little bit more difficult to organize it in a way that it shows well. But if you do have a vacant home, and for several reasons a lot of people do, you absolutely must look into home staging for it as well. And there, what it means, it's really maybe renting or borrowing or maybe buying secondhand furniture, at least for the main rooms, and setting it up so the house looks attractive when people walk in, so the pictures look attractive, the photos. And I have a separate article specifically on that on my home staging step-by-step website that you can find, or I actually link to it from the article that I'm referring you to in this link. Now, let's talk about the photos, because that is a super important. And today, you know, the technology is such that, first of all, pretty much almost everybody looks for houses that they're interested in. Before they go anywhere, before they pick up the phone, they look for the houses online. So obviously, it's human nature. We're attracted to things that look good. So when we see a house, what do? The first thing you do, you look at the photos. And it's pretty much the only thing that you look at. And if the photos don't look good, if they're dark, if the furniture is ugly, if the colors are outdated, even if logically you know that it's something that is not going to be there when you buy, and you know that it's something that's easy to change, but the way you feel, you're just not attracted. So you probably will or might skip over that property and move on to the next one. But in reality, maybe that particular house is exactly perfect for you. So the fact that the quality of the photos or whatever the photos represent is not good, it can have a huge impact on your potential buyers and your potential visitors. Because what you want as a first step is to have these people pre-select your property because they go, wow, the photos are amazing. This house looks great. I really want to go see it. And then they pick up a phone and they call you or your realtor and they take an appointment. So at least you get them in the door. So that's a major first step. So it's a huge, huge thing to have professional quality photos. It does not cost very much money. So it's something that you really, really need to look at, and look at your photos and see if you like them. And if you don't, then just go ahead and have them redone. Now, let's talk about the real estate agents. So I used to work with a lot of them, and most of them will do what it takes to sell your house, but not everybody. Like in any other profession, some people are lazy, some people are not, some people work hard, some people don't. So I think it's a super important element of your success if you want to sell your house, is to really have a good look at the person you're collaborating with, because he or she is your main marketing driver. So you do have to, don't be shy, and you can ask them questions, and you have to see their marketing plan, what activities they're doing for you, whether they're giving you weekly or bi-weekly reports, if they're running open house, if they're bringing people in. All of that stuff is super important because it's your life, it's your money, but you have somebody else representing you. So you have to make sure that the person you're representing you're really comfortable with them, and you do believe and you trust them that they're doing their best to sell your house. And there's also a matter of commissions, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it right now, but you can read it in my article. And basically, one of the things that you need to do is you need to understand how the commission works in the area where you're listing your house, and how much commission your realtor is keeping, and how much commission goes to the other realtor. And when you look at that, you have to make sure that it's attractive enough that the other realtor will actually be interested in bringing people into your house. So that's all I want to say, but I just want to point out that you should have that discussion with your realtor, and you should look at the contract that you're signing and be aware exactly of what you're signing and understand all the important clauses, because they are going to impact, how many people are going to be coming into your house, and it's going to be impacting your sale. Another very important thing that I want to mention, and a lot of people might not realize it, but when there is a new property that is listed on the market and it comes out, it goes into a database, and all of the real estate agents in the area receive the news. So there's a new property. So it becomes very interesting and hot for the first 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. And people who are serious buyers, and the real estate agents who have serious buyers will bring these people in at the beginning of the cycle, of the selling cycle. So this is your best time. I would say the first 3 to 4 weeks is your best time to put your best foot forward and to sell your house. So don't miss the opportunities of doing it. But if your house hasn't sold yet, there's some tricks and there's some things that you can do so you can fix the issues that you might be having. And then you can possibly relist the house as a new listing so it doesn't go stale. Because if your house has been sitting there for 3 or 4 or 5 months, it's stale. People are looking at it and wondering, what's wrong with this house? How come it hasn't sold? And then, of course, maybe your real estate agent will ask you to do a price reduction. And again, you have to think really carefully about the price reduction and how much of a price reduction and how it's going to affect your final price and your profit. So instead of doing the price reduction, there are other techniques. For example, staging your house might help you with that. You might not need to do a price reduction, or maybe it's not going to be as major just because the house, is changed and transformed and looks good and it looks like it's brand new listing. And by the way, an interesting true story. I have seen it by few, I mean quite a bit of times in my life, that a client would actually make an offer and purchase a house after it has been painted and staged and in whichever way it needed to be transformed, whether they saw the same house maybe a couple of weeks or a month before, did not like it, did not make an offer in it, and went away. And then once the house was transformed, they came back or were brought back by their realtor and loved the house and made an offer on it. So it is very possible. It happens all the time. So it's something that you should think about, because maybe if you take a couple of weeks to rearrange your house and to fix it and to stage it, you could probably ask for the people who haven't bought, for people who haven't bought yet, to come back and have a second look, and you might be surprised with the results. And of course, my last point, but it's also a very important point, it's the price. And I'm not a real estate agent, so I'm not going to give you advice on the price. I just want to mention that it's something that you should review and be very careful. And you really have to analyze your market. What houses have sold in the last 6 to 12 months? What houses are for sale now? What are the final price that they're getting? And it's something that you should discuss with your real estate agent or do it yourself, because this is a huge factor. And no matter what you do, honestly, if your house is $50,000 overpriced, even if you have the best staging in the world, it probably will not help you sell it. So for sure, staging your house and presenting it in a nice way will help you bring the price of that house a little bit up, and you will probably get between 1% and 10% more for it, but it's not going to replace a huge overpricing factor. So it has to be priced competitive to the market. It has to be priced competitive to the area you're in. And also, what is your timing? So I'm going to leave the price. I think you get the point. But also the one last thing is, I was going to say, it's no matter what you do, no matter where you are, it also depends on the timing. For example, in the area where I live, which is Montreal, Canada, we have seasons, and it's difficult. And I'm in the situation myself right now in the last couple of weeks. It's only been a couple of weeks, so not so bad yet. I'm not panicking yet. We have a beautiful house, which is very well staged, that we just put on the market because we do rehabs with my husband as our second job. And it's November. So the houses tend to sell a lot less in the winter time. And that's normal because most people buy houses in the spring because they want to move in the summer. It's easier. The kids are out of school. So we do have a timing season factor, which I cannot deny. So this is a situation you could be in. Reason maybe your market is very slow where you are, or maybe you also have the same issue as me, which is the season, the timing. But it's okay because we can still sell the houses. And by the way, for example, it's true that it's harder to sell a house in the fall and the winter. There's less buyers, but the buyers who do come, they're actually very serious because they have their own reasons of why they need to buy a house now. So there is a lot of less inventory of houses in the winter, and therefore there's less selection for the buyers who come. So it's not all bad. You can always turn it around and make it into a actually positive situation, and you can make it work for you. So I'm Sveta from Home Staging Step by Step, And I hope I gave you hope, and I hope you see that it's not all bad. And even if your house hasn't sold in 3 or 4 months, you just need to take action. So I really, really urge you to go and get my article on homestagingstepbystep.com, House Not Selling. And from there, you'll be able to access my free document on how to solve some of your potential issues. I've discussed it already in this Facebook Live, but if you want a little bit more detail, please go and grab it. And if you have any questions, you can connect with me and I'll be very happy to answer them for you. Thanks, and I'll see you soon. I'm wishing you a really good weekend.